Bayside, Queens. A neighborhood of quiet streets, modest homes, and dreams that rarely stretched beyond the block. Most kids grew up thinking about college, a decent job, maybe a car they could barely afford. But one kid, Jorden Belfort, had zero interest in limits. "Yo, 1 lemon ice, please," the kid yelled, hustling on the street corner. "For you, 2 for 1, but only if you tell 3 friends." "What are you, 12?" came a laugh. "Nah, 16. And I'm about to be rich, Jorden shot back. By the end of that summer, he had racked up $20,000 selling Italian ices. While other teens were dreaming of Camaros and video games, Jorden was enrolling in dental school. Yeah, dental school, because, at the time, it seemed like a guaranteed ticket to cash. First day on campus, the dean straight up told him, "If you're here just to get rich, you're in the wrong business." Jorden didn't even blink. He nodded, turned on his heel, and walked out. Teeth? Cleaning? Nah. He wasn't there to polish molars, he was there to make money, and he already knew dental school wasn't the fast lane. Next stop, meat. Yeah, meat. After college, Jorden launched a door-to-door meat and seafood gig. Prime cuts, flash frozen, hormone-free, cheaper than any butcher in town. "I don't eat red meat," one lady said. Jorden didn't flinch. "Cool. Let me show you our salmon fillets." It was chaotic, messy, pure hustle. No trucks, no storage, zero real know-how, just Jorden, grinding, late-night deliveries, melting ice blocks in the back seat, dodging spoiled orders. Within months, the business went belly up. But buried in that failure? A nugget of brilliance. Jorden realized he didn't need a perfect product. The product was just a vehicle. What mattered was him. He could sell anything to anyone. Surfboards, stocks, even lemonade stands. Jorden wasn't just selling, he was creating desire. Cue Wall Street. Jorden landed a job at LF Rothschild, a legit firm dripping with suits, quotas, and, yes, cocaine in the bathroom stalls, classic 1980s vibe. He soaked it all in, how the market moved, how brokers chatted in code, and, most importantly, how to close a deal. But then came October 1987, Black Monday. Markets tanked. Phones went silent. Brokers stared at red tickers like deer in headlights. Jorden got fired. Most people saw disaster. Jorden saw opportunity. He stumbled into the wild world of penny stocks, tiny, junky, unregulated shares nobody with a serious brokerage touched. Here's the kicker, 50% commissions. That's half of every dollar he sold. No fancy degrees, no corner office, just a quick phone, a fast mouth, and balls. He dialed up some unsuspecting guy in Nebraska. "Listen, this company is small now," Jorden said, "but it's about to disrupt the entire home entertainment industry. You get in at $1 a share, and in 6 months, you're not just thanking me, you're calling me from your beach house in Maui." The guy hesitated. Jorden cut him off. "You don't need to understand the company. You need to understand the upside. Smart money acts before everyone else catches on. So, are you first, or are you reading about it in Forbes a year from now, crying over missed gains?" Click. $4,000 in the bag from one call. No rules, no regulators, just adrenaline. He had found his playground, his empire in waiting. And the thrill? Man, it was addicting. And just like that, Jorden wasn't just another kid from Queens. He had a taste of the high life, and it was only getting started. But this was just the tip of the iceberg. Soon, he'd build a crew, a firm, and a machine that would rewrite the rules of Wall Street, in ways nobody could predict. By 1989, playing small anymore. He had tasted real money, real power, and real chaos, and he wasn't about to stop. Enter Danny Porish. A fast-talking, booze-fueled, Long Island hustler with the charm of a born salesman and the instincts of a street shark. Jorden saw it instantly: hunger, loyalty, no breaks. Together? Dangerous. They launched Stratton Oakmont. The name sounded like a century-old firm with leather-bound books and a legacy. Reality check. It was a strip mall boiler room with flickering fluorescent lights, mismatched desks, and exactly zero oversight. But Jorden didn't care about appearances. He didn't want experience, he wanted hunger. He didn't need analysts, he needed closers. The early crew? Bartenders, college dropouts, kids from the neighborhood. Zero credentials. Zero shame. But they had one thing, the fire Jorden could ignite. And ignite it he did. He developed what he called straight-line persuasion, a psychological pressure cooker designed to turn nervous rookies into machine-like sales demons. Hesitation? Bulldozed. Doubt? Drowned. Every pitch led the client seamlessly from hello to where do I send the check, in one unbroken, hypnotic line. The office became a jungle. Phones ringing non-stop, adrenaline pumping, ego swelling. Orders never stopped. Money flowed like champagne at a wedding. And the targets? Not Wall Street fat cats. No, Stratton sold hope to the forgotten investors, retirees clinging to their pensions, parents desperate to secure their kids' future, small-town dreamers Wall Street ignored. They sold dreams wrapped in urgency, dressed in fake certainty, backed by numbers pulled straight out of thin air. It started with penny stock BZZT or YU, but quickly escalated. Once the money rolled in, the operation evolved. They grabbed blocks of cheap shares in real IPOs, then flooded the market with hype. Calls, promises, excitement, stocks shot up. And then? Dump. Thousands of investors left holding nothing but a bag of disappointment. At Stratton, it wasn't fraud. It was Tuesday. By the early 90s, Stratton Oakmont was a legend. The office was a blur, screaming phones, air horns, testosterone pumping, $2,000 suits, and enough cocaine to make a small country hyper. Jorden turned fear and loyalty into currency. Top sellers were worshipped, bonuses, vacations, watches tossed across desks like candy. Underperformers? Humiliated, replaced, gone in hours. And then, the parties. Champagne spilling into fax machines, strippers in conference rooms, cocaine lines on compliance manuals. Nothing sacred. Furniture, company cars, fire extinguishers, even whipped cream and tequila became office hazards. Jorden had officially gone full cult leader, Armani edition. Helicopters, yachts named after his wife Naomi, mansions, Lamborghinis, Rolexes, he collected them like trophies, preaching the gospel of winning at all costs. On paper, Stratton Oakmont looked unstoppable. They were taking companies public, moving millions, growing faster than anyone could keep up with. But underneath the glitz? It was all smoke and mirrors. Because when the truth was too ugly to sell, Jorden sold the dream instead. And he did it masterfully. But every empire built on smoke has cracks. And Stratton Oakmont's walls were starting to crumble. The SEC was watching, whispers of fraud were spreading, and not everyone in the office was loyal for the right reasons. Jorden was on top, untouchable, but how long could he dodge the inevitable? By 1994, was on fire. The firm was moving millions, taking companies public, and drawing attention from every corner of the financial world. Phones never stopped ringing. Money never stopped flowing. But the walls of Jorden's empire were already starting to wobble. The IPO model was aggressive, reckless even. Same playbook, overhype the stock, oversell the dream, and exit before reality caught up. But this time, the SEC wasn't sleeping. Complaints stacked up from investors who bought in at $7 and watched it crash to 30 cents. Some brokers started whispering questions behind closed doors. Pushing stocks with no revenue, no product, sometimes no working phone number. Management's answer? Close the deal or hit the door. Meanwhile, millions were slipping offshore through shell companies. Some accounts were under Jorden's aunt in the UK, others parked in Geneva under fake company names. Jorden even had couriers, housekeepers sewing envelopes stuffed with cash into their bras. He called it asset protection, the FBI called it money laundering. Inside Stratton, the wildness was spinning out of control. Drug use went from bonus perk to survival tactic. Quaaludes slowed them down. Coke sped them up. Brokers passed out mid-call. Fights erupted over commissions, women, and pure testosterone. Employees got escorted out for violent outbursts. And Jorden? He was unraveling faster than the empire he built. His personal life was in chaos. His marriage to Naomi was falling apart. Pills and couch cushions, syringes in the bathroom. He once crashed his Ferrari into a pillar while high on Quaaludes, with his 3-year-old daughter strapped in the passenger seat. And then there was the infamous yacht incident. June 1996. Against the captain's warnings, Jorden insisted on sailing during a storm. Drunk, high, and convinced he was untouchable, he put his family and over $2 million in jewelry and narcotics at risk. The yacht, Naomi, began taking on water mid-Mediterranean Sea. They were rescued by the Italian Navy. The boat was destroyed, and though Jorden survived, something inside him had broken. Back in New York, the walls were closing in. Forbes and Wall Street Journal journalists were sniffing around. Former employees were talking. But most dangerous of all? Gregory Coleman, an agent with the FBI's Financial Crimes Division. He wasn't just seeing red flags, he smelled blood. Coleman began piecing together the timeline: cold call scripts, wire records, real estate purchases not matching Rep. Ortate income. He tracked Jorden funneling $50,000 at a time in cashier's checks, running through casinos, art galleries. One single wire transfer to Switzerland would eventually unravel everything. Meanwhile, some of Jorden's own brokers had flipped. Caught on fraud charges, burned by unpaid bonuses, they wore wires, recorded calls, and handed over documents. The heat was rising fast. October 1996, federal agents raided Stratton Oakmont. Phones ripped off desks, filing cabinets emptied, hard drives copied. Someone tried to flush documents. Another walked out with a briefcase full of shredded contracts. Didn't matter. The FBI had everything they needed. Jorden had built an empire on adrenaline, hype, and pure charm. But when the heat came, the house of cards started to fall and the wildest chapter of his life was about to begin. By late 1998, luck had run out. Stratton Oakmont's empire, built on cold calls and empty promises, collapsed under federal scrutiny. He faced charges that could have buried him: wire fraud, securities fraud, money laundering, up to 30 years in prison. But Jorden? He did what he did best. He sold. Not stocks this time, information. He flipped, cooperated, wore a wire, and systematically handed over everyone who had once worshipped him. Over 30 employees, brokers, partners, even friends went down. Some served more time than Jorden. He got 22 months in a minimum security facility. No fences, no cells, guards without guns. He played tennis in the morning, lifted weights in the afternoon, and at night, he wrote. It was in prison that he met Tommy Chong, the comedian from Cheech and Chong. Jorden spilled everything: the drugs, the yachts, the cash-filled envelopes, the empire of lies. Tommy just chuckled. Write it down, he said. And Jorden did. From prison walls to book deals, Jorden was about to turn his downfall into the ultimate hustle. In 2007, of Wall Street. A memoir more like a victory lap than a confession. No apologies. No regrets. Just yachts, orgies, fraud, and punchlines. The public ate it up. He sold the film rights. Wrote a sequel. By 2013, Martin Scorsese and Leonardo DiCaprio transformed the story into a global blockbuster. Audiences laughed. Critics applauded. Jorden Belfort, convicted felon and former fraudster, became a pop culture icon. But the victims? They didn't get movie deals. A teacher lost her retirement, a war veteran his savings, a family their home. Court-ordered restitution, $110 million. Paid? Only a fraction. The rest vanished into offshore accounts, trusts, and loopholes. Jorden? He's fine. Motivational speaker, sales coach, podcast host. He sells success like he once sold dreams, teaching ethics, closing deals, and hustling stages around the world.
The wolf became a brand.
Justice turned into product.
And maybe the scariest part? We applauded.
He once said, "I was guilty of being greedy, but so was everybody else." Deep down, maybe we never wanted him punished.
Maybe, in some way, we wanted to be him. Fraud, fame, fortune, fall, and comeback.
Jorden Belfort didn't just survive Wall Street, he gamed it, sold it, and turned it into legend.
And the question that lingers? If the wolf could do it, why can't we?